guys, and welcome back to another episode on Exactly Correct. I am your host, Trina Felicia. Thank you so much for tuning in either this morning, this afternoon, this evening, tonight, whenever you are joining us. Thank you, and welcome to Exactly Correct. I hope everyone is having an amazing day, and if you are not, you still have chance, an opportunity, and a chance to do so. Listen, before we even get started, y'all, I know it has been quite some time since I have put out an episode. You guys, life has simply been lifing. Things have been going on around me, but I am back and I am better than ever, and I am so excited. I'm so grateful to be filming another episode. I really missed you guys, and so I hope you all missed me as much as I have missed you. But we're gonna get right into it today. My plan is not to keep us long. It's gonna be a nice, quick, short topic. I always say that, but today I'm trying to stay with that. All right. And so I always try to talk about things either that I've experienced or that I am experiencing, in hopes of that we can help each other. And that's all what Exactly Correct is about. It's just trying to help each other navigate this thing called life. We all go through some things, and so I'm at a place right now where I think we can help each other navigate through this. You guys, you all know that I've said a million times, and I tell people all the time that when I love hard, right? I love with everything that I have, whether it be a person, place, or thing. Once I love it, okay? So, and I love them, him, they, you, with everything, with the best part of me. But I've learned two things, two issues that you may have when you are a hard lover. The first issue that I'm learning that you may have is that everyone cannot handle a hard lover. Some people, that is just too much for them, and that's okay. But some people just don't like the loving hard part, right? A second issue that I have learned that I've faced is it is hard to walk away from things, people, and places that I love hard. Those are like my two major things that I'm learning in my love walk, right? And the thing about it is that it is difficult. It becomes difficult for me to walk away from things that I've loved so deeply. And so what I'm learning, and I know I'm not the only person that may feel like this. You may not necessarily love hard, but your love is genuine and your love is pure. And so sometimes it's hard for you maybe to walk away from things and people. So I've realized that so many of us stay in friendships. We stay in relationships. We stay on jobs. We stay in organizations longer than we should. Like, we know that we really aren't happy. We're really not happy in that friendship. We're really not happy in that relationship. We're no longer happy in that position. We're no longer happy or satisfied within an organization. But because it is the thing that we know, because it is our norm, and it is because we have developed this love for this thing or this person, because of that, we have a hard time with walking away. And if we are honest, most of the time it's really just simply hard to say goodbye, because the truth is I don't really want to go, but I know I can't really stay. And that is our topic for today. The topic for today is it's hard to say goodbye, because the truth is I don't really want to go, but I know that I can't really stay. You know that song, I don't really want to go, I don't really want to stay, what I need to know, can we get it together? Like, I love that song, and it's so true, because when you have loved something so deeply, it becomes difficult to walk away from it. And I know some of you may be saying, Trina, where I agree with you. I can see, I can kind of see, I don't want to leave my job. I don't want to leave this position. I know on jobs, a lot of times our coworkers become like family. We make great friendships. I know I have made great friendships with coworkers that turn into friends, turn into like family members for me. And so because of that, sometimes it's hard to leave that job, right? It's hard to walk away from that. A friendship, you may have been friends for years, but the person honestly picks you up, puts you down. Really, they haven't shown themselves to be a great friend to you, but you stay around because you love them and you care about them. There may be a relationship or a situationship that you are in that you know is toxic, or it isn't going anywhere, or the person hasn't been great to you, but we stay in those things because of our love, right? It is our norm. It becomes your norm. Even if it's a bad thing, it is your norm. It's what you know. Even if the relationship is toxic, even if the relationship wasn't good, even if the friendship wasn't good, even if the position is no longer good to you, it is your norm, whether it be bad or good. So sometimes it's hard to walk away from those things and say goodbye to the things that once were our norms. I completely understand. And so I know that you may be asking, well, Trina, how do I know when it's time to leave? Because not all things you should walk away from, right? Not all people. Sometimes you have to tough it out. Some people need chances. Some things you got to give it a chance, right? But there does come a point and there does come a time where you have to know that it is time to say goodbye. And so I am now in a position where I'm learning when is that time to say goodbye, because for me, I will hold on to something to dear life. If I love it, baby, I don't want it to go. If I love you, I don't want you to go. If I love the job or the position, I don't want to leave. If I love an organization, I don't want to walk away from it. But there comes a time that you may have to say goodbye. And so if that is you and you're wondering, well, Trina, how do I know when it's time to say goodbye? I want to focus on three things I want to talk about and just give you three things that you can look into and look for. The first thing is when you always find yourself in limbo. Like anyone or anything that is interested in you does not want to risk losing you, right? So if someone leaves you always feeling like you don't know where things stand, that's a sign that they don't care about you. They don't care about the relationship or the friendship enough to make things clear. I always tell people, once I know where I stand, I'm good. I don't have to ask you no questions. I ain't gotta, once I know where I stand, I'm a rock with it, because I don't do gray areas. I like it to be black or white. We either hot or we cold. We either friends or we not. We either rocking or we ain't. I'm either working this position or I'm not. I'm either, in this organization or I'm not. I don't have like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of thing. I'm always like, as long as I'm clear on what it is and where we stand, I'm good. But if you find yourself questioning, you're like always confused about this situation, I'm confused about this friendship. If somebody asks you, hey, are you friends with this person? You're like, I don't even know. And it's because you're in limbo. Things are not clear. If you find yourself not even realizing or knowing if you're happy in a position that you may be working on your job, or if you find yourself kind of trying to figure out, do I really want to be in this organization or part of this organization? If you find yourself always in that limbo state, it may be time for you to take a step back to see, now wait a minute, is it time for me to walk away from this? You may need to start questioning those things. The second thing is, if there is no room for progression. I always say anything that isn't growing is dead, right? If the grass don't grow, 9 times out of 10, the grass is dead. If it is not growing, there is no longer a life in that thing. So in our lives, in our relationships, in our friendships, in organizations, on our jobs. For me, I know I always say on my job, it is important for me to grow. If I'm not growing in my life, if I'm not growing, there's a problem for me. If you find yourself exactly in the same space, the same state that you were in last year, that means that you have not grown. There is no progression there. And that is a problem. Staying in anything or anywhere that lacks the opportunity to progress is unacceptable, okay? It is unacceptable if I cannot grow here. If this relationship, even in a marriage, your marriage should always be growing. I don't care how long you've been married. There should be always some progression, because again, if it is not growing, if we are not moving forward, it is a standstill, and I can't stand still. Life does not wait on us. Time does not wait. So there should always be progression. Staying on a job or in a friendship or in a relationship for too long with no development is simply damaging, okay? You are damaging yourself. You are damaging your growth. You are stopping yourself from moving forward. If you are in a position that you feel like there is no room for progression here, you may want to take a step back to say, hey, is it time for me to walk away from this thing? The third thing is, if you just feel like you no longer fit in, you just don't fit in anymore. My daddy used to always say, you feel like a fish out of water. If you don't click in that friendship or with those people like you used to, you just don't seem to fit in that position anymore or in that relationship anymore. It's almost like you're trying to fit a circle in a square, and something that's built for a square. It just won't go. No matter how much you try to twist that thing, no matter how much you try to, fit it in, it just won't fit, because you don't fit in there anymore. And one of the most disturbing feelings for me, I would say one of the most disturbing feelings for me is not fitting into something or somewhere that used to fit me like a glove once upon a time. Like when I know that me and this person used to be great friends. Like when I know that relationship used to be so dope, man. When I know I used to thrive in this position, and now all of a sudden it just feels like it doesn't fit me anymore. It feels like something happened and something changed. That is one of the most disturbing feelings for me. So if you find yourself, like my daddy used to say, feeling like you are a fish without water, you are suffocating, because you just don't fit in anymore, that may be an opportunity for you to take a step back to say, hey, is it time for me to walk away from this situation or this thing or those people? It may be time. Now, I know you may be saying, okay, Trina, I get it, right? It may be time for me to say goodbye, but how do I do that when deep down inside, and this is where I always find myself, is deep down inside, I really don't want to go. How do I walk away from the person that I really deep down inside don't want to walk away from? How do I walk away from the position that I like? The job, I like the people I work with, but I want to move up. It's no longer serving me. How do I walk away from an organization that I've always known? It was my norm. How do I leave? How do I move on? How do I move forward? And like I said, this is something that I too myself have struggled with, is walking away and knowing how and when is the time to say goodbye, because there will be a time that you have to say goodbye. And I'm telling you, I am one that will hold on for dear life, man. I don't want to leave. I don't want you to leave me, and I don't want to leave you. And I will stay as long as I possibly can. But if I can be honest, if I could just keep it 100 with you guys, for me, sometimes it feels impossible to cut ties. It feels impossible to walk away from a relationship or a friendship. Sometimes for me, and I could be the only one, that may not be, anybody else's story, but for me sometimes it just feels simply impossible for me to cut ties, man. It feels like I just can't do it. But I really have been thinking. I tell you guys all the time, I'm a thinker. I'm constantly thinking. And then I started reading, and I'm always reading. I'm always trying to better myself and figure out how I can make me better, right? And so I sat down recently. I sat down and I said, okay, here's how I'm going to implement learning how to simply walk away when it's time to say goodbye. Here's what I'm going to do, and maybe this can help you. These are some of the steps that I am taking in trying to find my goodbye, because sometimes you have to find it. You have to find it, even if it hurts you, even if you don't want to leave it. You have to find it, right? The first thing that we have to do is be honest. You have to be honest with yourself that something isn't working. You can't keep telling yourself a lie, right? You have to be honest that the position, the relationship, the friendship, the organization, whatever the entity is, you have to be honest with yourself that something just isn't what you want it to be. It isn't working out the way you thought it would work out. It's time for us to stop It's time for us to stop lying to ourselves and stop lying to those that are connected to us, and just be honest and say, you know what, because let me tell you something. We'll sell ourselves a dream. I know I will. I'll sell myself a dream in a minute. Like, it ain't really what I think it is. Like, nah, Trina, maybe you tripping, you know. But the truth of the matter is, you have to be honest and say, this isn't working. There's something here that I'm not happy with. There's something here that I am not happy to be a part of. You have to be honest with yourself. That takes honesty. The second thing is, you have to make up your mind. It's time to take a moment to just think, right? After you have been honest with yourself, you have to sit down and take a moment to think and be crystal clear on your decision, if that decision is to walk away or to stay. See, leaving or staying is based on you. The decision to say goodbye or not to say goodbye is not based on anyone else. It is completely up to you. So stop allowing people to change your mind. Once you have been honest with yourself, and once you sit down with yourself and really think about what it is that you want to do, once you make up that decision, stick with that decision unless you decide to change that. Stop allowing people to change your mind. So it's important to take time to sit down with yourself. Ask yourself, what is your motivation for leaving? What's your motivation behind saying goodbye? Why do you want to leave? Because every situation is not a situation where you should walk away. Some stuff, sometimes you put in the work, right? We put in the work. If you don't like the job and you feel like there is some opportunity for growth, there is something there, then we try to stay in that position and we try to grow there. You feel like, hey, this is a good friendship. This person is a good person. Maybe they have some flaws. This relationship is a great relationship, but maybe, we have some hiccups along the way. So it's not always a reason to walk away, right? But there is sometimes that this is toxic, and you need to say goodbye in order for you to better you, or in order for you to be the greatest you, the greater part of you. You may have to walk away. And so learning to do that, and you need to first find out what your motivation is for leaving, because this is a you decision. Walking away and saying goodbye to people, places, and things is a you decision. That doesn't belong to anybody else. That's you. So maybe you need to make a list. I don't know. Make a list of the good versus the bad, right? Make a list of the pros versus the cons, and see where you are, so that you can have a logical decision. You can make a logical decision and be okay with either saying goodbye or not. The third thing I would say is, if you're choosing to say goodbye, prepare for the pain. I think we don't talk about that enough. I think we don't address the fact that when you say goodbye, it comes with pain. It's leaving anything that you love, or leaving any person that you love, is never easy. It's almost like grieving someone you lost. It's almost like going through the grieving stages of, I am really leaving this thing that all I've known is this, or I've been in this for so long, I've been on this job for so long. Prepare yourself as best as you can, man. Listen, my emotions be overwhelming sometimes. I feel every single emotion, and I feel those emotions very strongly, whether it's sadness, happiness, joy. I feel them at like times 10 of someone that just typically normally feels an emotion, right? And so my emotions sometimes hit me, and they hit me when I least expect them. But you try your best to prepare for that. Prepare for the pain. It is natural to miss the thing that you're leaving, that you have to say goodbye to. It is natural to miss that person. It is natural to miss your coworkers or that job, especially when you've been there for so many years. It is a natural thing of feeling to experience. However, don't allow that feeling that you're feeling of missing that thing, don't allow that to trick you into be the reason that you go back, unless that's what you want to do. And so I think for me, those are the three things that I am going to make an effort to implement in my own life. Is that, okay, Trina, let's sit down, because there is going to come a time that you have to say goodbye. And although you may not want to go, you absolutely can't stay. Saying goodbye can be difficult, but sometimes it is necessary. In order to experience your true happiness, you just may have to say goodbye. You may have to say goodbye to some people, some things, some places. And saying goodbye doesn't mean you don't love that significant other, or you don't love that friend, or you don't love those people that are connected to you. It just simply means that it's time to choose you and your happiness. It's time to choose your growth. It's time to be all about you. It doesn't mean that you don't love this thing anymore. You don't love these people anymore. It simply means, man, I'm trying to just choose me. This thing isn't making me happy. I'm not happy here. I'm no longer happy in this environment. I'm no longer happy in this friendship. I'm no longer happy on this job. And so because of that, it is time for me to learn to be selfish, put me first, and choose me. And it is okay to choose you. Don't allow anyone to make you feel like it is a sin or it is a horrible thing to choose your happiness. Everybody else around us, they walk around doing what it is that they want to do, because it is your life to live. It is your opportunity. It's even God allows us to make the decision. He doesn't force us. And this isn't a Christian based show, but I am a Christian girl, so I got to give y'all what I know, right? So he doesn't force us to serve him. He doesn't force us to love him. He wants us to, but he allows us the opportunity to pick and choose. So stop allowing people to pick and choose for you when God doesn't even pick and choose for you. He allows you that opportunity. So don't feel bad when it may be time for you to say goodbye, because the truth is, I don't really want to go, but I know I can't stay. At least I can't stay like this. Well, guys, that is my time, y'all. Wow, we went to 23 minutes. That's crazy. I said I was going to be quick, y'all. I'm so sorry, but that's my time. Listen, stay connected with me on my social media platforms, on Instagram and on TikTok. It is Trina Felicia. If you would like to see the video component of today's episode, feel free to head over to YouTube. It is Exactly Correct Podcast, and you can catch and see the video component of today's episode. And like we say on all of our episodes, until next time, always remain exactly correct. Okay, bye.